And I'm going to go into the Nintendo one, and then we'll come back to both of these, and we can kind of have a larger discussion. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Nintendo announcing their expansion pack membership for the Nintendo Switch Online, and so this is coming from Matt Ville at Collider. So Nintendo announces release date and pricing for Switch Online plus expansion pack membership that lets you play classic games. So not going to go through here. It's going to go real quick. Nintendo has announced the release date and pricing for their upcoming online membership plan called Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pack. The new membership plan is broken down into two versions like the regular Nintendo Switch Online: individual membership and family membership, which holds up to 8 accounts. The individual Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pack will cost $49.99, and the Family Switch Online Expansion Pack will cost $79.99. Not going to go too much into this. Long and short, you're going to be able to play a select amount of N64 and Genesis games, along with all the regular benefits of Switch Online. Let's rake Nintendo through the coals, Adam, because I know exactly how you feel about this, and I think you called this in terms of the price.
If I did, I'm going to assume that I'm right, regardless of whether I did or not, because I did say that I was worried that they were gonna charge a pretty stupid price for it.
Yeah. So in terms of like, just go. I know exactly where you're gonna. I don't need to load you up with a question. Just go.
I just have two things to bring up. So I've got two lists that I want to pull up for you here. So I want to pull up the this collection of games that you can also pay a yearly fee for. It's I mean, technically you got to pay a monthly fee for it, and it does add up over time. It's called the PlayStation Plus, and Nintendo's like, hey, if you give us $50 a year, you can get this collection of N64 and Sega games. I'd like to bring you to the attention of the PlayStation Plus collection, where for the monthly fee or yearly fee, depending on how you get your subscription played, you get access all time to this collection of games: Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies. I'll keep going, but you would notice that these games are not 30 years old. So there's one. And then I like to bring up another list, which is a game that you can buy on Switch currently. I don't know if it's Canadian or US, because I'm not sure if it adapted based on my region. But it's called the Sega Genesis Classic Collection, or the Sega Genesis Classics. And that thing includes over 50 games, some of them including Alex Kidd, Altered Beast, Columns, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, 3 Golden Axes, 3 Phantasy Star, 2 Shining Forces, 4 different Sonic games, 3 Streets of Rage. You get my point here. For $30 extra, sure, you're getting an Animal Crossing DLC, but it's DLC that just costs you $25 one time, not yearly. And then a bunch of emulated games that shouldn't have cost you more than $5 extra on top of it. And here we are with $30. If you pay more than 1 year of this, even if you're an Animal Crossing player, this is the biggest ripoff I have seen in a long time. Flat out.
I agree. I think Nintendo had a sweet spot. Like, it wasn't impressive, it wasn't amazing what you were getting, but it was affordable. It was $20 a year, and I think that was the sweet spot of, is it the best service out there? No, but I can pay it as a secondary fee. Like, it's not killing me to do that. It's $20. And now to go to $50 a month, you're now basically in the same realm and space as PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live Gold, which I think that, like, you're now in the big realm and you are getting far better bang for your buck for those games. You're not getting some 30-year-old games. And I think Nintendo really made a mistake in terms of making this so expensive.
And to them thinking that, we'll package it with Animal Crossing and we'll assume our customer base is so stupid that they'll look at that and be like, oh, that's a deal. I already wanted that DLC and I get some emulated games, until you realize, wait, that's what they're going to charge the following year after that. And what are they going to do? Say, oh, the next Animal Crossing DLC will throw with it. At what point does a gamer go, okay, like, you're literally giving me nothing. You haven't made the infrastructure of the online service any better. The party system still doesn't exist there. You still have this absolutely antiquated friend code system. You have all these things that people have been asking for since the Wii U, if not even the Wii. You still haven't done it. and you're expecting people to pay more just because you happen to throw a couple of games that you can, let's be honest, pirate for free.
Not that we advocate that.
No, but you can do that. And if it's just a little bit of extra on top, you get a DLC to a game that you may not even own.
Yeah. I read somewhere that the price is a result or could be a result of licensing issues. And if that's the case, I mean,
to which I say, then just drop the idea.
Yeah, Nintendo. For me, I see Nintendo serving two purposes. Nintendo Switch has two purposes. It is either a family console, in which case, it's pretty premium price for a family console. When you're looking at the system, like it's $250, $300. Plus the games don't get on price. And now this family pass is $50 on top of that. Your kid, like families with young kids, are not dying to play a Nintendo a Zelda game from like 1997 or whatever.
Yeah, as much as we dote on those games as a kid, I don't think people are willing to pay $30 per year to have access to Dr. Mario 64.
Exactly. And then the other group it works for is people like us. And the Nintendo Switch, for the most part, is a secondary console. It is not our primary gaming console. And so to come out and say you're now paying a same price as a PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live is kind of ridiculous. And I feel like Nintendo doesn't really kind of get where their market is.
Like, what makes this worth $30? Because automatically you take the Animal Crossing out of it because it's meaningless. It's a one-time purchase, so it's meaningless. You have to minimum do the free games that we expect from Xbox games with Gold and with PlayStation Plus. But they'll never do that because then that would mean that they can't charge you full price for the games that they never drop in price ever.
But here's the thing, they don't even have to do theirs. Like, Nintendo has a huge relationship with indies that it could be easy for them to be like, hey, we're also going to throw you some free indies every month. Some are gems, some are, shovelware.
But does that bring people to get it?
It adds, if you're going to come at that $49.99 price, you got to bring more than just, hey, here are 12 old games.
Well, okay, we can make the case that it's worth a 50, but is it going to make people want to pay the 50? That's the real question, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, look, it's obviously an older game, but Mortal Kombat X is going to certainly bring more people to get a PlayStation Plus subscription than some indie game that 95, like, no offense to all indie developers, and I think we've said this before, but no offense, but 95% of gamers aren't going to know what that game is.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. Is, with the rare exception, that is not what brings people to the system. It is a nice attachment, is a nice addition. They're the opening act to the headliner. That very rarely is the indie game the headliner.
And the reality is that if you were going to offer free games as a part of the expansion pack of Nintendo Switch Online, every month you don't do a first-party game, people are going to go, why is Breath of the Wild still not out? This game is 4 years old. Like, a year later, this game is 5 years old. Why are you still making us pay $60 for this game? And it's going to keep compounding. And I don't like shitting on Nintendo the way that I do sometimes, but it is so frustrating to look at a customer base, including my own, because I'm on the outside looking in still to this day and probably will be forever at the rate this is going, looking at it being like, man, the amount of stuff I've gotten for either 50% off, 75% off, or free as a PlayStation gamer, and I'm looking at Nintendo being like, 20% is the best I can hope for? What incentive is that as a customer for me to look for that? Like,
except Mario Rabbids,
get better deals if you go on Kijiji and try to look for used copies, and even then, most people are pretty savvy to that to know not to give away Breath of the Wild for $20.
Yeah,
it's really irritating. Like, I can't understand how a company that has this fan base that is so, like, actually, I will say this. I'm actually really impressed that the Nintendo subreddit, for one, is actually really dumping on this. Because I thought most people would just try to sweep it under the rug. No, they're pissed.
Yeah.
And that is the first time in a while I think I've seen that. And that says something, too, when Dread is out right now for Metroid and killing it. It's the highest Metroid game they've ever sold. They're doing killer with that. And people are just too busy being like, what the hell is going on with Nintendo?
Yep.
That means a lot. I'm really impressed with that because I would not have called that. I called the price, apparently, but I would not have called this reaction to this extent.
Yeah, I think it's a nice little wake-up call to Nintendo that they are not infallible, and I hope that it humbles them a little bit. and they kind of come back to the drawing board and kind of.
There better be a retraction within the month, or and knowing them, they won't, because they're pretty stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be surprised if there's any retraction whatsoever, even an addition. I don't see it happening. They'll pick that hill to die on. It'll fail, and then a year later at E3, they'll come up with something new to try to divert attention.
Here's the next Zelda.
And then people remember why they love Nintendo again, and they'll completely forget. But not me.
Yep.
Not me.